Hey guys, Miss Ewan here for EL Content, and today we are doing lesson 10, and lesson 10 shows us or tells us that we are going to be writing our detail sentences today. Remember last week we actually started our focus statement for our booklets about animals and depending on trees. So if you could take aim, that would be great. I can write detail sentences that give examples of how animals depend on trees for food. Let your arrows go. All right, let's open up with our song like always, but wait a minute. There are missing parts to our song. I wonder what those missing words are. Oh, I know what it is. The missing words are verbs. And who knows what verbs are out there? We went over it last week. Verbs are action words. So an action that I'm doing right now, I'm moving my head. That's an action word. So moving. What action am I doing right now? Blah, 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 blah. I'm talking. Okay, what about now? I am running. So all of those words are action words, remember. So let's sing our song and let's fill in our verbs. We depend on trees. We depend on trees. We eat fruits, nuts, and chocolates. We depend on trees. Caterpillars depend on trees. Caterpillars depend on trees. They munch on leaves just as they please. Caterpillars depend on trees. Deer depend on trees. Deer depend on trees. They snack on bark in day or dark. Deer depend on trees. Squirrels depend on trees. Squirrels depend on trees. They scarf down seeds and nuts with ease. Squirrels depend on trees. Birds depend on trees. Birds depend on trees. They fly in line to wine and dine. Birds depend on trees. Okay, friends, so I added all of those verbs in that we're missing. Like eat is a verb, and munch is a word, and snack is a word. You're doing something. Okay, moving on. All right, so last week we actually had a big chart that we made. I will show you the chart. All of our animals here, okay? And you picked 3 animals from all the animals that we read in our book, Be a Friend to Trees. So I came up with some sentences about some animals that we read about. So our first sentence is, squirrels get nuts from trees. Yep, they certainly do. Squirrels get nuts from trees. That could be a good sentence, a detailed sentence. A bird gets berries from trees. Yep, they definitely do. Porcupines gets the inner bark to eat from a tree. Yep. Coming over here, another detailed sentence that we could write, koalas get leaves from trees. Another one, deer gets berries from trees. And lastly, a bee gets nectar from a flower. Okay, so those are only 6 animals that I talked about here, but there were way more animals that we read about in Be a Friend to Trees. Okay, and over here, remember on Friday, we watched a little video clip of a giraffe eating the leaves off of the tree, off the top of a tree, and then there were a few birdies sitting on the giraffe's head. Remember that? And we watched the whole video and we were amazed at how the giraffe didn't really care that the birdies were on him and they all were eating the leaves because that's what they need from a tree. So right now I'm actually going to show you another animal that depends on a tree. And I want you to watch every little part of this video here, okay? And it's actually really cool because you can see him, my friend, well, not this commercial, but you can see him, the whole acorn he's munching. He goes around and around, and with his little hands holding the nut from a tree and his big long tail. And look, he turns the whole acorn around. And I want you to notice something too. I'm going to skip over here. He turns around over here. Look at that. And he's completely gnawed the whole thing down to the inner shell of the acorn. And then when it's over here, the video, watch how where he is over here. No, not there. Towards the end. Look at this. Watch when the camera goes out. Look at where Mr. Squirrel is. He is up as high up in the tree as he could be. And he is a happy, happy squirrel eating away the acorn. Okay? So that's another animal that depends on a tree for food. And he was really happy just chilling, eating that acorn. I wanted to show you guys that because he was not even bothered. He was up high. He was just having a good time. All right, take aim again. I can write detailed sentences that give examples of how animals depend on trees for food. All right, so remember we made a booklet about how people depend on trees. We talked about people eat fruits, people eat nuts, people eat berries, well, not berries, but people eat chocolate from trees, people get syrup from trees. So we made our whole little booklet about how people depend on trees. Now we're going to start working on our own research booklet on how animals depend on trees for food, okay? So I'm going to show you, remember we did our focus statement last week. So I'm going to show you my little booklet, okay? It's not done yet because we didn't get very far. So my focus statement from last week says, animals need trees for food, okay? And remember, I told you guys to draw a picture of all the animals you're going to talk about in your booklets in this picture, okay? So now I'm going to show you how we're going to do our detail sentences. So on the first page, I want you guys to set this up just like this, all right? I want you guys to have a little box where you can put your picture, and then I want you to have lines on the bottom where you can write your sentence. So if you picked the animal, like Miss Ewan picked squirrel, so my first sentence is going to say, squirrels eat nuts from trees, okay? And then what do you think I'm going to draw in my picture? In my picture, I'm going to draw Mr. Squirrel hanging out over here. He's kind of just got himself over here. There we go, with his long tail and his cute little legs. And he is in the tree with lots and lots of acorns. Now, when Jason and Ellie and I took a walk today, we have a tree really close to our house, and there are so many acorns that fell out from the tree, and a lot of them were broken up and cracked and eaten. So we were talking about how the squirrel must have eaten a lot of those acorns because he must have been hungry. So here's my detail sentence number 1, okay? So squirrels eat nuts from trees. And I drew Mr. Squirrel by the tree with the acorns falling out of it, or the nuts falling out of it, okay? So that will be your first detail sentence. Okay, friends? Now you have detail sentence number 2. Same setup. Please put your little box on your paper, draw your picture inside your box, and leave the lines for your sentence. And what was my other animal I picked? I forgot. Did I pick a deer? I feel like I picked a deer, and I feel like I picked a koala or a porcupine. I think I picked a porcupine. So my sentence is going to say, porcupines What do porcupines eat from the tree? Oh, I remember. Porcupines eat the inner bark of a tree. Okay? Now remember, friends, you guys are kindergartners, so it's really hard for you to spell all of those words. That's okay. Don't try and spell. I want you to try really hard to spell the words, but don't ask your mommies and daddies for all the spelling of the words because I want you to try and sound it out, okay? So I said porcupines eat the inner bark of a tree. So what do you think I'm gonna draw in my picture? I'm gonna draw a nice little tree here. And my porcupine, remember, my porcupines got spikes. They have spikes on them, right? So he's got spikiness, he's spiky all around. He's even got spiky legs. And he is a happy little porcupine because he is eating the inner inside of the tree. It's like he's eating the sticks of the tree. The inner bark of the tree is like the trunk of the tree, okay? And here's my picture. Porcupines eat the inner bark of a tree, and there he is eating the inner bark of the tree, okay? That's detail sentence number 2. So you have to do the first sentence. Remember the animals that you picked. Last week, you made your brainstorm, you made your notes about your animals. Now you're gonna put it into sentences and pictures, okay? And then the last detail sentence, same setup as the first and the second one. Keep your box to draw your picture in, and then have your lines for where you're going to write your sentence. So inside detail sentence number 3's box, I have to think about what other animal I picked, and I'm pretty sure it was a deer. And the deer eat the bark too of the tree. They eat the grass, but they don't eat the leaves of a tree. It's more of the inner bark of a tree. So I'm gonna draw my friend Mr. Deer over here, and he is a beautiful little deer. And he is a happy little deer, and he has a tiny little tail. This is a fat deer, I'll tell you that much. And he also eats the sticks and the inner bark of a tree, okay? So you can draw that as well. And my sentence is gonna say, what do you think my sentence is gonna say? The deer eat the sticks and bark of a tree, okay? So here's my picture for that. And here's my sentence. The deer eat the sticks and the bark of a tree, okay? So now, that is what your job is going to be today, friends. You are going to write all 3 detailed sentences. Remember, last week you made notes about these. You picked your 3 animals. You drew a picture of your animal, and you drew what it ate from a tree. Then on Friday, you guys wrote your focus statement, which I showed you what our focus statement was. It doesn't have to say exactly the same thing as Miss Ewan, but it has to say close to what I have. Animals need trees for food. That's what we're talking about. That's what our big booklet is about, okay? And then you're gonna do all 3 detailed sentences today for EL content. Remember, it's going to look like a little booklet, just like your just like your People Depend on Trees book, okay? Gonna be a cute little booklet like that, all right? Remember, if mommy or daddy has any questions, they can message me and let me know, but have fun with this. Make it high quality work, make it beautiful, color it. Miss Ewan didn't have a chance to color it, but I want you guys to color it, okay? So that is your EL skills assignment for today. I hope you guys have a good time with it. I will see you in a little while.